Andy Thomas here from Wolf on the Run. I've just ordered me some new Tractionator GPS tyres. Off-road, on-road, they're a little bit of 50-50. They're reversible for the back tyre, so that you can get a little bit more off-road if you want to, but no, I'm going to stick with the original. So the tyres haven't arrived yet, but in preparation to get the tyres, we've got to raise the front fender, mudguard, by around about 20mm. There is a product that you can buy through a few companies, but today we're going to make our own. It's pretty simple, so I'll run you through it. Okay guys, I've been on some of the websites and forums and seen what's involved. So you see the distance between the two bolts there is 53mm, and we want to raise it up by 20mm. Just to give it a bit more clearance under there for the new tyres. As I say, these are the original road tyres. Now we're going with the Tractionator's GPS. They're a little bit more knobbly, so yeah, we need to get that raise up. If you look there, I've already cut a little bit off the back of the guard there, just to give it a bit more clearance, because we did get a bit of shit catch up under there. But it's going to open that up a little bit, raise it by 20mm. So we've got to make a bracket for this one to raise that up by 20mm, and we'll make a bracket that double steps that part there, that goes up by 20mm. So let's get going. Alright, so this is my sketch that I've made. I've done some measuring. 20mm difference between the original and the riser. The distance is, say, 53mm between those bolts that are there. So all we're going to do is just step everything up. So yeah, what we need is a bit of 20mm flat bar. We need some 6mm nuts, because it's a 6mm threaded part of the fork that we're going to go into. So we're going to weld 6mm nuts on. So yeah, I'm going to mark it all out and show you through. Alright guys, first off I'm going to cover this in masking tape, so that I can mark it all out onto paper rather than trying to mark it onto the steel. A proper steelie will probably be saying, or a fabricator will be saying, oh, you can get blue and scribers and whatever. But I'm going to do it all in one on this first off, and then cut it up afterwards. Alright, so first off, we're going to come up the end by, I'm going to say 12mm to the first hole. And then from there, we want to go 53mm. Then we want to go 20mm for the riser, and then 73mm. So basically, that's the drawing I showed you. That's the original, that's the original, that's the new, that's the new. Everything will get moved up. And we'll do that twice. So we need two, obviously, one for each side. From that hole there, 12mm. So the overall measurement on that is 97mm. We'll allow 2mm for the disc. So as I say, that's the third one. 2mm blade cut. And there, 12mm, 32mm, another 12mm, and then blade cut. So that there gives us the four pieces that we want. So I'll mark those out. Okay, I've got a biro so that I can mark it a bit better. So that's the cuts. I'll mark this out and then I'll just show you down it, so we know where our blade cuts are. Gonna go that way. Alright. Now the 53mm is quite critical regarding the measurement centres, because obviously it's moulded into the plastic, and it's also, you know, threaded into the frame, so it's quite critical. I'm going to use a builder's eye to centre this, as I call it. There we go. Let's zoom it in so you can see. So as you can see there, a double line is my cut. Alright, I'm going to drill these first before I cut them, because I think it'll make it easier. Alright guys, as I haven't got a drill press, so everything will be done by hand, I've got a 2.5mm pilot drill first that I'm going to drill through all these with. I'll start there. You should punch them really, but with a smaller drill you should be okay. So that's it, I'm going to go through all these. You don't want to watch every hole being drilled, so I'll drill these and come back to you. Alright guys, I've got one more to do on the 2.5 pilot drill. I'll just do that one. Right, we'll go over to the bike and I'll take one of the bolts out just to make sure that I've got a 6.5 drill here that I was going to drill them, but we will take one of the bolts out because it's a 6mm thread and we don't want it too sloppy, so let's go over and get one of the bolts. They're not that tight, so I'll probably pull a bit of, when we put them all back together, put a bit of Loctite on them just to make sure. There is a little collet inside here with the plastics, and what you don't lose those if you do it. There it is. I'll just drop that down there so we know it's safe. Put it back on the bike, put it back in the hole. So we just got the bolt, a little 6mm bolt. We'll just make sure that we don't make it too big with a 6.5 drill. Alright guys, I'm going to take the drill just out of it. Just put that at the side of it, 6.5. Yeah, that should be just enough clearance. We don't want it too baggy. If we'll do it 6.5, and if we need to, we can always drill it out at 7mm. As I say, the 53mm centres are very, very critical. If you're out of line, obviously these go into the fork of the bike at 53mm. If your measurements are out, then you're not going to get them. Especially on the threaded side, when we weld our bolts on there, nuts on, that's pretty critical. We'll do it 6.5 first, and then we'll see how we go. So try that. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not too loose. It's not too tight. We've got probably yeah, 1/4 play. We could make them a little bit bigger if we want to, but hopefully we're pretty precise on our measurements and holes. As I say, these ones, the smaller ones, are not too critical because we're only moving it up 20mm. If it's 21, 20.5, it doesn't matter. It's the ones, as I say to you, that are centered here. That's the critical ones, really critical. All right, I'll drill all the rest of these out and come back to you. Okay, guys, that's all those 6.5s drilled. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut them off into pieces. So I'll start that way. Tripod's in the way, I can't start that way. So I mean, you know, you could hacksaw them if you wanted to and then grind them to the line, but this blade's a 2mm blade, that's why I marked the 2mm gaps between the actual cuts. Alright, Alright, that's them all cut. I'll take the paper off. I'll change the disc on the grinder to a flappy disc so we can round over the edges, get rid of all the burrs off the front and the backs, and yeah, let's see how they go. Alright guys, so I've changed the disc over to just a flappy disc. So you can use a grinding wheel if you want to, but this it doesn't do. It's pretty calm, it's not too bad, and it's ideal for linishing the backs as well. So that should round over the edges, and it should also be able to linish the backs off. So I'll do the backs first. front. Alright, I'll just go through doing that to them, which is basically taking the burrs off both sides, and then I'll start rounding the edges over. Alright guys, so that's all those prepped. I'm going to just round over the tops now. Vice falling apart. Might put some Loctite on that. I'll do one side at a time because it's easier to grind like that. Alright, can you see? Let me get you back in a bit closer. There we go. Get battery. Okay guys, show you that look. That's all I'm going to do is just round them over, just to make them a little bit, you know, more presentable, because a little bit of this will be on show. It's about that much underneath where we raise it. Alright, I'll get those all edged up. Alright guys, as I say, safety first. I'm going to do some welding. So I've put my work boots on, I've put my gaiters on. Gaiters go over the top, obviously, stop all the sparks going down into your boots, because if they do roll into your boots, they just burn a nice big hole in your foot. Talking from experience in the past. Alright, let's get on with it. Alright guys, I've got the welder set up. What I'm going to do first off is I'll just put that into there like that, just to give me a bit of a base. I've got a couple of bolts that I'm going to put through, and just double check my centres, make sure that I am 53. I'll start at the 100. That's hot, I've just welded on there. 50, yep, 53, perfect. Check the next ones down. 53, yep, beautiful. Again, do this one. On the 100. 50, oh, I'm about 53 and a half, no, 53, yeah, 53. Very good. And then that one. Beautiful, beautiful. So I'm going to use these. I've got some 6mm nuts that we're going to weld on. Got a couple of those. I'm going to put a bit of grease inside of the nut, and hopefully I'll thread these on. And then the theory behind it is when I tack them on, the grease will stop it from frictioning through to that bolt and won't weld itself together. I know it will set fire, but so one's going to go there. Bit of grease. Put the bolt through. These are just bolts that I found. I'm not using these bolts because they're star heads. I'm going to use X heads, the same as what we're taking out. Put that through. That's going to go there. I'll just double check that I am 53mm. 53, perfect. Now I'm going to get a little piece of wood to hold down on the top while I tack it. Alright. I might put the earth on, might work first. Alright, that's all we need. This gasless welding is a little bit messy, but I will clean all that up. So I've got to do the same again. I'll just take those out. And the theory with the grease and the heat, that it doesn't stick, it doesn't friction weld, I would say, the bolt inside the nut. I don't want to touch them because they'll be bloody hot. There you go, the grease, yeah, does the job, don't work. Like I say, it catches fire, but it doesn't friction burn it inside and keeps a decent thread inside the nut. So as I say, I've got to clean all these spottles off because I'm using gasless MIG, so the flux is on the wire and it is messy. Ideally, you'd want to use TIG, beautiful bit of welding, but I haven't got one. So yeah, hence the MIG welder, and we'll clean it up. I'm only going to paint them matte black, because my mudguard's black, the fork bottoms are all black, so it's just going to go black. You can get them in aluminium, 6mm aluminium. I think it's Rugged Roads that do those, or it might be Motec. Some of them use stainless steel, but as I say, all I'm using is mild steel, and we'll paint them up. It's only got to hold a mudguard, for God's sake. It's 3mm, yeah, plenty, I reckon. Righto guys, I'm on to my last one. So we're again, grease inside there. Put the bolt in. It just lines the inside with grease, stops the spottle sticking to it. Put that on there. Again, with a little bit of wood, hold on top. Tack there. And a tack there, that's all we need. As I say, there's a fair bit of spottles on there, but they come off. Take that out. As I say, as you can see, look, the grease makes it so easy, it just stops it friction sticking to it. Otherwise it arcs up inside and then you have a nightmare trying to clean the thread out after it's all tap and dyed and whatever. That's just a little tip for you. So as you see, that lines yourself up with a hole that side, and that puts the nut on that side. Just all it needs is a tack, because the tension is just to hold it in place. Once you put the screw in, it'll tighten itself up. All the tacks are for is basically to spanner the other side of the nut when you tighten it up. All right, I'll clean these up. I'll come back to it again. All right, guys, that's them all prepped, all cleaned up, ready for paint. So, welcome to Andy's paint booth. Which is just a crate that I'm going to hang these on. Go through the nuts. Alright, that's just going to go some flat black matte. Let's get you in a bit, just so. And all I'm going to do is, I am not priming them, I'm just going to absolute pile this paint on. 3 or 4 coats. Be plenty. That's it. Wait for that to dry, put another couple of coats on. There you go guys, very simple. Wait for the paint to dry and then we'll start installing them. I'm going to do a second video now, so it'll be the Fender risers install. Yeah, so we're going to put them onto the bike and make sure they work. Thanks guys, thanks for watching.